Hey guys, it says I'm live. That was fast. Let me see how much time I have. Excuse me, I actually might get 20 minutes out of this. Maybe. Whew. We'll see how fast it dissolves and goes down. But right now, it came on pretty darn quick. Probably within 5 minutes. So don't mind this. I'm about to take these out. I need to wash my hair. So, but they look good. Look at my twist. These are the ones I did the other day on camera. Look how good they look. I mean, naturally they're coming out. They're scraggly, and they're coming. But I'm just saying the health of them look really good, and so I'm really pleased with them. And I can't wait until the top grows out a little bit, just so when I twist it, I can just pull it up and keep it safe from like breaking off. And I just want to be able to pull it up and kind of tuck the ends in. But right now, this isn't. I mean, it's probably long enough, but it would have to be stretched, and so it needs to grow about an inch or two more. The back needs cut before it starts breaking off. That's why, it won't grow, because it'll start breaking off. But yeah, I should take them out now, because I'm just going to chat with you guys for a few, and then I'm going to grab a shower, and I'm going to bed early. Actually, it's late as it is. I would rather have already been in bed, to be honest. Like, that's how tired I am. And it's been a rough 2 weeks. It's been a rough week. It's been a rough day. So somebody, that I care about got admitted to the hospital with COVID today. So, I've been dealing with and processing that. So I went for a walk today. So they went to the ER Wednesday and they got sent back home, but couldn't really breathe. So they went back today, and their O2 sats were dropping in mid-80s, and so they admitted them. So right now they're just on oxygen, just a supplemental oxygen, and they put them on IV drip, IV antibiotics. And I'm not concerned. I think they'll be fine, because they are a smoker. So put it this way, there are some things that concern me, and there are some things that don't. Because usually when people end up in the hospital, they've taken in quite a bit of the viral load, and that's always just a concern. But most people are doing well. They're getting out, and they couldn't get the vaccine because the state they live in, their group wasn't up yet. They were calling around trying to get it, but they couldn't because they weren't in the group. So it's a shame when people are this close to getting the vaccine and they get COVID this bad, because that's what the vaccine's supposed to do. Help you that if you do get COVID, that you might not end up in the hospital, and you might not end up that sick. So but it's scary. I kept telling people, for me personally, this is the most scariest time, because last year it was scary because we didn't know what the heck it was, and a lot of people didn't even take it seriously, so they weren't afraid. I was just fearful because I've already been on a ventilator long term. But now, do I think pregnant women should get the vaccine? Oh, I would never answer a question like that. Never. Because even if you weren't pregnant, this vaccine is such a personal choice that you have to decide, because we know that there are risks with it, but there's risk with anything. I like what one doctor said that I was watching on YouTube. He said, people keep asking him, are the vaccines safe? And he said, well, no. He said, but neither is taking any prescription medication or any medical treatment for that fact. He said, you can take too many aspirin and it's unsafe. So people who take the vaccine have to really, because I know for me it was a hard decision. Like I was excited, then I was scared, then I was excited, then I was scared, then I was excited. Like, well, I can be around my family and not worry as much. And then I was scared, like, oh, what's going to happen? Um, so I had to do what I felt was the best thing for me. And they say risk versus benefits, but personally, okay, how can I answer that without? I don't want to. If put it this way, if I was pregnant, would I get the vaccine? Okay, put it this way, if I was healthy and pregnant, would I get the vaccine? No, I don't think so. I can't say because I'm not healthy and I'm not pregnant. But in my mind, I'm thinking if I was healthy and if I was pregnant, I would not get the vaccine. But then again, what happens if you get COVID and you get really, really sick? And then you're like, I wish I would have got the vaccine. It is a tough decision. I'm telling you, they have really put us in a bind. I was not happy that with my health problems, I was basically forced to make a decision to put something unknown and foreign into my already compromised system. I was not happy about it. I'll tell you that much. I heard it only lasts 6 months. That's about what they're saying. They're saying that we might have to get it again. They don't even know. Nobody knows. Oh, darn it. Let me leave these things alone. I should start taking them out. Nobody knows. No, but like that's the whole thing. With it being a new virus, a new vaccine, everything is new. I don't believe anybody that tells me they know anything about this because they don't. They're still experimenting. They're still, when I told one of my friends today about my other friend that went to the ER Wednesday, got antibiotics and sent back home, the first thing they said is, that's what they did to my mother. And she ended up back up there and in the hospital. And that's what happened to my friend today. Couldn't breathe and ended up right back at the hospital. So sometimes, look, maybe they let it go too long. Maybe they should have been admitted on Wednesday when they went instead of given antibiotics and sent back home. Personally, I thought antibiotics didn't work. I thought that's why people kept talking about ivermectin and remdesivir and what's the other one? Well, the what was it? Hydro something chlorazone or something. Remember the one Trump kept talking about? He kept saying it was secure and all this. But that one, I cannot, and I know it, I just can't think of it. And then ivermectin, there was a big controversy over that. And one of my friends got it last year and ended up in the hospital, and they gave her antibodies. They gave her plasma, or what was it called, convalescent plasma, or the antibodies or something. So they're treating everybody different. I mean, I guess it just depends on where you live, what area, what hospital you're by. If you're by a great hospital, that has the latest in technology, like I live in an area where one of the doctors was one of the researchers on the vaccine. Like I live in an area that's highly populated with medical stuff, and they're the top leading in the world in certain specialties, and so I live in a pretty good area medically. Um, and so that's probably why my friend, way early back in August, got treatment that worked for her COVID because they were doing things even when they had the shortage of masks. The hospitals here, they were sterilizing them in the autoclave, and they had experimented with that years ago. So it, There's so many factors. This has so many unknowns, and that's why I say I wouldn't answer that. Everybody has to really, when it comes to COVID and the vaccine, everybody really has to look at themselves and say, what is best for me? What is best for me? What is best for my family? What is best? You can't say anything good about it other than you just hope that if you get the vaccine and you catch COVID, that the symptoms will be less and you will not end up hospitalized. Because we have to remember, people with COVID have these long COVID symptoms. I mean, long haul symptoms. What do they call them? Long haulers. They were calling it long COVID. Now they're calling it long haulers. And I just had a friend back home. She had COVID and she was just at the ER the other day. And she said she was at the ER trying to figure out what the chest pains in her chest was about. It could be It could be heart inflammation from COVID. We know COVID inflames the body. It inflames the organ, like it's an inflammatory disease. And, there are some things they do know, and they know that it causes inflammation pretty bad in the body. And there are people that were really healthy before getting COVID that now have heart inflammation, lung damage, organ damage. People can't taste and smell 3, 4 months after having COVID. It stinks. It stinks. That's why you got to protect yourself. There are people that are getting really lax. They don't want to wear the mask. The states are opening up. This is why I keep saying this is the most dangerous time. And I don't have much time out here, and this is dying pretty quick. It's telling me I only have 18 minutes left, which means about 5. I hate this. I think my son is pricing a desktop for me today, I think. So I may have one next week or the week after, but right now I'm going to run out in about 5 minutes, and I don't have anywhere to put the plug. Let me. Wow, I thought it would last longer than this. I thought I'd make it to 7:30. Let me see if I can find. Guys, give me a minute. Hang on. I'm going to shut this. I'll be back. I'm still here, but hang on. I have to get up and walk around here. I'll be back. Okay, hang on a sec. I'm going to try and see if I can get this plugged in somewhere. I don't know if it'll work. Let me see if I have a plug here. I think I might. Hang on, guys. I am still here. I'm just trying to give you a little bit more time so we can talk. Let me see if this will work. Okay. That's exactly why I don't do that. That's why. It wipes me out. Dealing with trying to get behind things and moving things wipes me out. So, but that'll give us a little bit more time, I think, than 5 minutes, because it was about to die. It drops like that. It's just like with COVID, how quickly the oxygen drops. So my granddaughter lost both of her great-grandparents a week before Christmas, and their oxygen, every time they would take them off supplemental, their oxygen would dip down into the 60s. Now, I don't know how many of you know, if you have health problems or know somebody on oxygen or work in the insurance field, you know that when oxygen reaches 88, that's when insurance will pay for it. That's when they'll pay for a prescription. As long as your oxygen is above 88, insurance typically won't cover it. Um, so that gives you an idea how bad it is when it drops into the 60s. And so my friends today dropped into mid 80s. Um, it's just sad. People, it's just sad. Anyways, let me go back to my point why I think this is the most dangerous time. And I think I've said it in videos before. This is so good. I made me a fruit punch with berries, pineapple, strawberries, pineapple, blackberries, raspberries, ginger ale, peach. What else? I don't know, but it's delicious. I think something else was in there. It's so good. I'm telling you, I wish it was like 85 degrees out and this was a little colder and I was drinking it, it would go with the glass. Look, it really would. Oh, but it's so good. And if it was warm out, and ginger, and I didn't put cucumber in here, but cucumber would really top it off and make it refreshing. I'm trying to eat healthy again, but guess what I did yesterday? You know what I had for breakfast yesterday? You know those veggie fries in the bag? I had a bunch of little bags of chips and snacks I got from Sam's Club. Anyways, I had a bag of veggie fries and I had 5 bags of potato chips. 5 little bags of chips. I'm out of control. I'm out of control. And then at night I have Slim Jims for a snack. And then I wonder why my cholesterol's borderline high. So, yeah, let me go back and try to focus. So here's why I think this is the most dangerous time for COVID. One, people are tired of being in the house, not having things open, not having things to do, because they don't know how to just be content with themselves, with their family. Bible says, be content in any situation you're in. I don't know how, and forgive me, because I get a little frustrated and upset about this. I don't know how people with a house full of folks were frustrated during the pandemic. When you had people out here alone and single and in nursing home and things by themselves that did okay. And it just bothers me. I know everybody's different and everybody has different needs, but you got some nerve to complain when you got a husband or a wife, maybe your parents or grandparents staying with you. You've got 3 kids, a cat and a dog, and a big, 4,000 square foot house, and you're whining. Oh, sorry if that's any of you. I'm sorry, but that irritated the crap out of me. I'm like, be these elderly people in the nursing home who some of them may not even really understand what was going on. And nobody can come visit them. They can't take care of themselves. They can't. And people with big freaking back and front yards were whining. I think God is doing a work among the earth. I really do. I think he's changing a lot of things. And I'm glad, because I feel like nobody had any right to complain when they had a house full of folks about, I just want to be around people. Enjoy your family. Enjoy what God gave you. But we see people couldn't even survive. Marriages couldn't even survive less than 1 year of people being together. That shows how many people are miserable. That's why we're in the shape we're in the world, because people are so miserable in their homes and in their own personal lives. If this didn't show us that, sorry guys, I've got my partials and they're not fitting right. That's why I'm not talking right. Plus they hurt. But yeah, if this did not show us how miserable people are, when you can't spend less than 1 year in the home with your family, marriage is breaking up in less than 1 year. You know why? Because people were miserable anyways. They were only tolerating each other because everybody was moving at the speed of light. They couldn't stand being with each other. That's why they were out there involved in everything, doing everything. And we see a pandemic hit, slows things down, and 9 months later, you've got the divorce rate going up. How the divorce rate went up when nothing was open, nothing was going on? How did they know the divorce rate was going up? What attorneys were practicing divorce? I mean, I'm sure there may have been some. But you know what I'm saying? Like, I get irritated. Here I sit by myself, single, by myself, grown kids, can't see my grandchild. Maybe I just don't like people that much. I don't know. Maybe that's why I didn't have an issue. Or maybe because I almost died and had to do this years ago. And so I'm appreciative of life, not necessarily what I have in it, but I'm appreciative of life and just still being here another day. Even if I have to talk to my granddaughter on the phone, I'm still here. I'm still able to have a relationship with my granddaughter. She's still able to have a relationship with her grandmother, and I'm not in the grave. So why can't people just be grateful? Like, we've got COVID out here that's been killing people for over a year. Why can't people just wake up every day and say, thank you, God, that I'm safe from that virus? Or if you had it, thank you, God, that virus didn't take me out. Why can't people just be thankful and grateful? And then we're all running around. I don't know what's wrong with this world. I don't think it's too hard to figure out. I don't. Folks are miserable. They're miserable. When you're miserable, you don't want to see others happy. You don't. I've been there. Can nobody tell me nothing? I've been there. Miserable people are miserable. They want to be around miserable people. They want to stay miserable. When you try to cheer them up, they want to stay. The only miserable people that aren't like that are people who want help. They don't want to be there. But most just like to wallow in the misery. They don't want to be happy. But everybody else shouldn't have to suffer, though. Just because somebody's unhappy, everybody else shouldn't have to suffer. There's so much. Trust you me, guys, I'm not judging. So many people think I judge. I'm like, do you know what I've been through in life? Before you ever accuse me of judging people, you better know half the stuff I sit out here and talk about, I've walked through. I've lived. Can nobody tell me about depression? Can nobody tell me about suicide? Can nobody tell me about these things? I talk about things that I know. And when I don't know things, I tell you it's my opinion. I tell you, in my opinion, or this is how I view it, or that's how I view it. But when I've walked through the valley of the shadow of death, and I tell you about that, it's because I just talked to my sister, one of my sisters, and we were talking about COVID, and she said, oh, I can't imagine what these people go through. And I said, I can. She goes, oh, I know. And I'm like, yeah, I can imagine because I've walked through the valley. May not have been called COVID, but it was still ARDS, which is what COVID patients get, ARDS. I get so frustrated because I just be appreciative of what you have. If you have a nice home, be appreciative of it. Don't sit up and think like, oh, we can't go anywhere. Enjoy your home. Redecorate it if you have to. If you have a 400,000 square foot home, I'm sure you got some money in the bank. Redecorate if you need to. Do something. Stay busy. I live in a little teeny tiny apartment, less than 1,000 square feet. I've always got a project going on. Always. I ain't got nearly half of them. I ain't got this much money. I don't have a smidgen of money next to somebody, bringing in thousands per month. I don't have that. I constantly keep a project going on. I constantly stay busy. Cook, read, play board games, whatever brings you pleasure. As long as it's not hurting anybody or yourself, you know. I'm not saying go do drugs because it brings you pleasure, because that harms you. That's not good for you. I'm saying if you like cooking, cook. Everybody and their brother really should have food. I'm not saying that to be ignorant, but there's so much food out here for people to get. There's so many food banks, and I know some people might say, but some people can't get to them. But there are people willing to help. We were in a pandemic. There were people willing to go out of their way to deliver food to people. All you had to do was pick up the phone and call. There were so many programs and organizations, and they were in most places. They really were. I can't speak for everywhere, but most places made sure people were fed. And then the government gave people the maximum amount of food stamps benefits. So, and food banks were giving out amazing food. I had a program in my area where the local grocery store gave out $40 worth of free produce every month. Now, I know that's not everywhere in every area, but I do know other areas had some nice programs. And there's always 211 you can call for resources. So if there's one thing people shouldn't have went without is food. And I know with evictions, most places, again, I can't speak for every place, but most places had the eviction moratorium, so people couldn't be evicted. Most utility companies were not shutting off utilities during COVID. Um, people with 4 kids, when you're getting $1,200 and $1,400 for each kid, that's that. I know for me, being single, for me, that was a nice little bit of money. And so if you got 3 and 4 kids, that's enough to kind of get you caught up on your rent or your bills. I know there were programs giving kids computers. And again, I'm speaking for my area. Free internet. They were giving free internet out for the kids to go to school. I think that's why I pay $100 for crappy internet, because somebody's got to pick up the cost of all this free internet. And um, I don't know. I just think maybe I think too much, guys. I don't know. Maybe I think too much. But I know personally for me, because I was looking for ways, where can I help? What can I do? And I didn't find a lot of people in need. I just didn't. People were actually asking me, do you know anybody that needs food? Do you know anybody that needs this? Do you need? And I'm like, I don't. I don't. Everybody I knew was doing well. Everybody I knew, even people that had lost their job, they were just waiting for their unemployment to come in, and that was the hardest part for them, is when they had lost their job and waited for their unemployment. But when their unemployment came in, they were good. So I don't know. I don't know. I don't know. I think sometimes we get caught up in all the hype, like when I said about black people dying of COVID, and somebody corrected me and said that's not true. And I said, I'm probably speaking from personal experience because of the amount of black people I know that died from COVID. So I was probably thinking from personal experience. Um, but who knows? Unless we're there taking the statistics, who knows the truth about anything? Because we're lied to sometimes. We're told some untruths. We're not told the full truth. So who knows? Who knows? You just have to live your life. Look, I've gained so much weight and I've not been to the gym. I hit my leg and it just jiggle, 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 jiggle. That's bad. Uh, but honestly, in life, you just have to live your life one day at a time. I think Bill W., who wrote the big book for Alcoholics Anonymous, said it best. One day at a time. That's all we have. That's all we have, any of us. I was just talking to my sister, and we were saying, we you can do everything you're supposed to do and still, well, I don't know. I've heard people say this. I did everything right and I still got COVID, but I don't know. I don't know. I'm not sure if I necessarily agree with that because I think what they told us to do will keep us safe. That's just me. I think if we wash our hands and keep our hands out of our eyes and our nose and our mouth, I think we have a greater chance of staying safe. I think if we stay 6 to 10 feet away from people so that if they've got COVID, we're not breathing in their COVID, I think we'll stay safe. I think if we wear a mask and we're not spreading COVID and we're reducing our exposure to catching COVID, I think we'll stay safe. I think the people that say, I did everything right and I got COVID, I think, no, somewhere you did something you shouldn't have done. Because if you did everything to not get COVID, you probably wouldn't have caught it. But if you, I see so many people eating, like just eating, like the other day, for instance, there's this guy, oh, he had so much energy, he was making me nervous. You know, he looked like he was on drugs, he had so much energy. So he's jumping all over the place. He'd sit down for 2 seconds. I guess he had a girlfriend or somebody worked in the grocery store. He was waiting for her to get off. It looked like, to me, here's what it looked like. It looked like some family was visiting from out of town. The cashier came out, hugged the one, must have had some time to go back in and finish up. They were out in the parking lot waiting for her, and I was sitting in my car because I was watching them like a movie. I was already done shopping, but sometimes I do. I sit back in my car just to be out and about and around people, and it's interesting watching this whole pandemic. And so he's jumping all around like a banshee, and they must have traveled from another state. They had a cooler in the back of the truck with stuff in it. So he's going in their cooler and he takes out a big can of coffee and he sticks it down his shorts. And I'm like, ew, really? People are so nasty. Like, that's just nasty. You don't know what kind of bacteria. You don't know if he's bathed for 2, 3 days. And she's laughing. The lady's laughing. So then he saw some chips. He went into her chips. So he opens a bag of chips up. It was a new bag. Sticks his dirty hands in that he's touched the truck with, the cooler with, everything else with, scratching his bag. Sticks his nasty, dirty hands in the bag and starts eating, and she lets him. I'm like, this is how people get sick. This is how people get sick. I watched that Derek Chauvin trial. I watched those attorneys take their mask off and do this. I watch people in the background take take their mask down and scratch their nose and do this. Do you know what germs are on your hands if you're not washing them? So, yeah, until you really understand. I used to tell people because, growing up, you're always told, don't go outside without a coat on, you're going to get sick. And I used to always think, well, how come I went outside without a coat here or there and I didn't get sick? Um, and I used to think that. So after my lungs collapsed, and I realized that sometimes I found myself in positions where I was a little cold. I didn't have the proper maybe layering on, and I was cold, but I wouldn't get sick. And then I thought, well, maybe you don't get sick from the cold. So I started reading and learning a little bit and learned about viruses and how you get viruses. And you don't get viruses from the cold weather. You don't get sick with a virus from the cold weather. You get sick with a virus from the virus. You know what I'm saying? Like, that virus has to enter into your body. So now, like they said, it used to be before COVID, yes, in the warmer weather, the viruses didn't seem to stay around much. They seemed to stay alive and things and stuff in the cold weather better. And that's why you didn't have a lot of flus and stuff during the summer, but you would see it in the fall and into the early winter. Cold and flu season, it's called. And so, don't know where I was going with that. delicious. I ate a half a bag of Twizzlers last night. So I've been trying to keep my sugar up all day. And it's a shame to do that to myself when all I have to do is this. A nice, refreshing, can you see all that fruit in there? Let me see if I do like this. Look at all that fruit. Raspberry, strawberry. But all you have to do, nice, refreshing glass of juice with fruit in it. Sweet like candy. Guys, it's almost 8 o'clock. I got to go. I wanted to get to bed early tonight because I'm so tired. I've had such a hard week. I have really had a hard week. I do all these classes online, and you know, most of them deal with race issues, conversations about race, and those become so heavy. And I'm so tired. I don't even feel like washing my hair tonight, but I guess I'm gonna have to since I took these out, because otherwise it'll be all tangled. Well, I guess I can detangle it, comb it through, and but I like to wash my hair when I'm in the shower. Otherwise, I gotta wash it at the sink. If I don't wash it in the shower, then I have to do it at the sink. And my poor back. But I think I really do. I think I'm too tired tonight. So I think I'm going to end this at 8 o'clock. I'm going to go take me a nice hot shower because my back is hurting a little bit. And I'm going to go to bed and find me a nice, happy, funny comedy to watch. I keep saying that, but I said it last night too and didn't. And I doubt that I'll do it tonight because my emails were over 3,000 emails this morning when I checked, because that's how backed up I've been. I've been trying to keep it down. You know when I got behind? Seriously, like my mother died in July of 2019. And that's when I first got behind in my emails. So that shows you how long I've just been lagging in emails. And I just keep praying like, oh God, please, I hope I didn't miss anything important. I really do, because I know I was slacking. Actually, what time is it? 7:44. Oh, my head, it just feels so good when I can scratch it. I'm looking at the hair. I bought some hair like 2 months ago. I bought some hair and I was going to put some braids in. This is what I hate about twists. If you miss them, then they get all tangled when you're undoing it. I was going to put some hair in, but I love, like right now, my hair's really soft. It's really soft. And if I put braids in, I can't condition it as well as I can if I don't have braids in. And I'm going to try to get it to grow. I don't know, because sometimes, even right now, with this length, it's annoying. It gets annoying. If I get a knot or a tangle in it, I don't have the patience. And I'm like, okay, God, I see why you didn't give me long hair, because I don't have the patience. I was thinking about it the other day. I was like, why are you going through all this? Just cut it all off short. I'm like, you're old. You don't have the patience to take care of hair. The only reason why I'm taking care of it right now is because of the pandemic. That's it. I have time to take care of it, because once things open back up and, we start doing things again, but I'm telling you, it scares me. Every time somebody gets COVID, it scares me. And I'm like, especially when it's somebody that you're kind of close to. Oh, so I never finished when I said, here's why I think this is the most dangerous time. Because one, people have been vaccinated. Or did I finish? Did I say this? My memory. I called one of my sisters today. I said, how you doing? She answered me. I said something else to her. I said, did I just say that to you? She goes, no. I said, oh. I said, well, how you doing? She says, good. I said, did I just say that to you? She goes, yeah. I'm like, oh, my poor mind. Oh, I worry about my mind. I do. I'm like, God, please please, I've been through enough, and we never know what we're going to go through the rest of life. But I do not want to lose my mind. I don't. I don't. I see how sad it is with people. I watched this one lady on TikTok. Her channel's called My Dad Caregiver, I think, and her dad has dementia, and it's such a sweet thing to watch, but it's got to be so hard for the caretakers, and her dad still recognizes her and knows her name and knows that she's his daughter sometimes, but that's got to be so hard. I've talked to my granddaughter about it, and I'm like, I never want to lose my mind. I never want to get that. I never want to look at you and not know who you are. That's got to be terrible for both parties. Like, can you imagine you raise your children and then you look at them one day, you don't even know who they are? Imagine how hard that is for them. Mom, it's me. Dad, it's me. Who are you? Oh, that's just something to thought of it. I'm like, and it worries me because my mind, like, I really do get to the point sometimes where I'm like, I worry. I just worry, put it that way. So I wish I could get my hair cut. It needs cut. So I tried cutting all this part, because it had like 4 inches of bad ends on it, and now they're coming back. It needs cut again. So, I wish I trusted to go somewhere. And I'm never going to finish the story about why I keep saying this is the most dangerous time. But I think you can figure it out. People are tired of being indoors. It is warming up outside, which means they can do things, even if it means outdoors. 3, most states that haven't opened up yet are starting to open up. My state is even thinking about opening up to full capacity come June. We don't know if it's going to happen, but 100% capacity in the ball stadium, somebody's going home with COVID. You know it. I don't care how much they take a temperature outside the stadium. You fill that stadium to capacity, somebody's going home with COVID. I've never been so thankful to live by myself because I think with this pandemic I'm sorry guys, I'm right in front of a window. That's why I'm distracted. With this pandemic and my lung disease, I would have been scared to death to have lived in a house with somebody else. Even when my son and the couple of times my son and granddaughter had to come in here, I was a nervous wreck. I live in a small space, and I already live with around a lot of people. So if I had somebody actually going out there in the world and then coming home every day, I think I would have moved out. I would have. When we had the pandemic in 2009 was it the avian flu? Which one did we get in 2009? But that one scared me. And I actually lived with several people back in 2009. And I did get a bad flu. And, but this one here, so grateful. I have a friend that lives, one of my neighbors, and he and I were both talking about we are so thankful that we live by ourselves because we just don't think we could live with anybody else during this pandemic. And had we who knows how many people, like couples and stuff, one has gotten sick because the other one's taken it home. Anyways, I'm distracted. It's almost 8 o'clock. My back's hurting. I'm tired. I need to go detangle this. I'm going to put it in 2 or 4 braids until morning. I'm going to wash it in the morning. Right now, I'm going to take a quick hot shower and I'm going to bed. Pray for me that I get through some of these 3,000 emails. Plus, I got a text message, and my friend that's in the hospital with COVID, they're keeping me up to date with what's happening. His family members are keeping me up to date with what's going on, so I need to check my text. So So they said they won't call me unless it's dire. So I don't want to call. So you guys pray, 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 pray. I'll pray for your family. I'll pray for you guys. I just want to stay safe. My prayer is, God, keep me safe. He's been gracious enough to keep me safe for a year. I pray he's gracious enough to keep me safe for another year and another year and another year if need be. But yeah, to go through the vaccines and know that quite possibly we could need a booster shot or another one in the fall. Who knows? And who knows what they're putting in. It's a lot. It's a lot. But that's the world we're living in. And that's why I said, you got to do what makes you happy. You got to do what brings you pleasure. Otherwise, this will take you down and under. I sit on the phone sometimes and talk to my friends for hours. If that's what brings you joy, if you're not bringing each other down and stuff, if you can talk and have conversations and laugh in the midst of this stuff, do it. You've got to do what makes you happy. That's the only way I've survived through this. I've cooked for my neighbors. I went to food banks. I got food, so I'd have a lot of food. I cooked. I delivered food to my neighbors safely. What else? Cooking, you can say food makes me happy, but whatever makes you happy. Oh, and like I said, I talk on the phone with my friends, and our conversations have never been so long. Like there are days I'm like, okay, I can't be on the phone this much because all my conversations with people are long. I'm just now getting to the point where I'm starting to cut them short. Like I'll be on the phone and after like 20 minutes, I'm like, okay, well, I gotta go because I know it might take me another 20 minutes to get off the phone. But whatever makes you happy, if it's playing board games, if it's doing Zoom calls, I wish I had enough people on my channel because I would do Zoom calls with people. I think they're the greatest. Like if you're feeling out of touch with people, get on Zoom calls. A lot of people are like, but that's not the same. Yes, it is. Yes, it is. We see each other. We can communicate. We can have a relationship. We can talk. We can chat. We can virtually hug. We don't need to. So I wish I had a lot of people, but that, now that I'm thinking, so here's what I'm going to do, guys. I'm going to try to build my channel a bit. So I bought these books. I don't want them to get ruined, so they're in this. So I bought these books that, they're really nice books. I think I showed them. And I was trying to do a book reading, and I was going to gift them, but I couldn't get people out there on the call for the book reading. So I'm holding on to the books and they need to go before they're like old. They're new books. They're nice books. So I'm going to do probably a giveaway on this channel and give away a book. So here's the dealio though. I need you guys to help me out because I can't right now think of a way how to run a contest to give away a book. So I don't know, maybe some of you have kids. Maybe some of you would enjoy winning one of the books. So please let me know. I love this one. It reminds me of my son. So I love that one. But they're really nice books. They really are. And I would like to gift them to somebody. I think everybody has so much. Nobody wants them. But they're books. I thought most people like reading books to their kids. So anyways, you guys let me know what I can do to be able to gift these books. I'd like to do it before the end of the month, early May. Offload these books before they're like old and irrelevant. No, they will never be irrelevant. I'm sorry. But I'm tired. I'm squawking. Ain't making no sense. Gotta go. I'll see you guys hopefully soon. Keep my friends in prayer. Again, I'll keep you in prayer. Bye, guys. Have a great, blessed, safe weekend.